In a blistering defense of Russian power and resilience, President Vladimir Putin delivered a pointed response to Western criticism at the Valdai Discussion Club, striking back at US President Donald Trump, NATO, and the European Union. The Russian leader left no doubt that he considers his country strategically, economically, and militarily unshakable, turning criticism into a showcase of Moscow's strength. Trump had publicly questioned Russia's military effectiveness, suggesting the war should have been over in a week and labeling Putin a paper tiger.
I'm so disappointed in President Putin. I thought he would get this thing over with. He should have had that war done in a week. And I said to him, you don't look good. You're 4 years fighting a war that should have taken a week. Are you a paper tiger? And it's a shame, but I think eventually we'll get that one done, just like in theory, I want to knock on wood, because you never know.
Putin did not flinch. In a statement, dripping with confidence and rhetorical force, he turned Trump's critique into a challenge against NATO itself.
Russian troops, I want to emphasize this confidently, hold the strategic initiative everywhere. Well, if we're at war with the entire NATO bloc and we're moving forward, advancing, feeling confident, does that mean it's a paper tiger? What does NATO itself, then? What does it even represent?
With these words, Putin framed Russia as the aggressor in name only, asserting that the West's most powerful military alliance is symbolic rather than decisive, while Moscow moves with strategic clarity. Trump's administration has repeatedly portrayed BRICS as a threat to US financial dominance. The American president singled out India and other BRICS members, claiming they are attacking the dollar.
They have BRICS, which is basically a group of countries that are anti the United States, and India is a member of that, if you can believe it. It's an attack on the dollar, and we're not going to let anybody attack the dollar. So
Putin's response was measured yet firm, portraying Russia and its BRICS partners as pragmatic rather than hostile.
There are many tasks ahead of the BRICS. One of them is to establish, as we believe, not just to create a common platform, common principles of interaction, including, first of all, in the economy. By the way, as I have already said, we are not building a policy against someone. The entire BRICS policy is aimed at ourselves, at the members of this organization. By the way, we are not running some kind of anti-dollar campaigns, anti-dollar policies. Not at all. As for us, we are simply not allowed to count in dollars, that's all. What should we do? We count in national currencies.
Putin framed the move away from dollars as a necessity imposed by Western restrictions, not an act of aggression, turning the narrative of anti-dollar BRICS on its head. Trump also criticized Europe's continued dependence on Russian energy, calling it embarrassing.
And Europe has to step it up. They can't be doing what they're doing. They're buying oil and gas from Russia while they're fighting Russia. It's embarrassing to them, and it was very embarrassing to them when I found out about it, I can tell you that. But they have to immediately cease all energy purchases from Russia. Otherwise, we're all wasting a lot of time.
Putin countered with a sharp economic warning, highlighting Europe's vulnerability and Russia's indispensable role in global energy markets.
Even in a bad dream, it is impossible to imagine that Russian producers and Russian traders, who provide a significant part of the oil in the global market, can be bought out. But prices will skyrocket. For $100, everything will disappear instantly. And is this in the interests of the economies of those countries that are already feeling so bad, including the economies of European countries? Either no one thinks about it, or they understand it, but still go for it.
In a sweeping critique, Putin painted a picture of Europe on the brink, struggling with debt, social unrest, and cultural erosion.
See what is happening on the streets of European cities, what is happening to the economy, industry, European culture and identity. With huge debts and an increasing crisis of social security systems, which have come out of control of migration, the growth of violence, including political radicalization of left-wing, ultra-liberal, Russian marginal societies. Pay attention to how Europe is sliding to the periphery of global competition.
Putin's remarks form a calculated rebuttal to every major Western criticism, from military tempo and NATO credibility to currency politics and Europe's economic vulnerability. In this verbal duel, Russia emerges as resilient, strategically confident, and globally indispensable, while Trump, NATO, and the EU are framed as reactive, divided, and self-damaging. Across multiple fronts, military, economic, and geopolitical, the message is clear. Moscow is not intimidated and will continue to set its own terms on the global stage.